Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Sri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir.
Welcome.
Gopinath Bhavan.
Jai Ho.
Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai.
Shri Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupanu Gauri Guru Varga ki jai. Pratik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Dandava Pranam, Nard Muni and Saruni, Radhe Radhe.
Nard Muni. Hare
And
Krishna.
Saruni.
And Kabuli.
So we will begin.
So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakamalam.
Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Shri Krishna Lila Gatane Sudaksham Paudarya Madhurya Purashrayuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirsham Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jitikaikahriti Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Veshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshavamritinamine Bhaktivedanta Charitraya Svashrivanam Chamanine Jiva Dukhe Sadarpaya Shri Nama Prema Darine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati दहिने ब्रह्मवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपारूढभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीगुरुमये दिनपालिने रूपारूढनिर्भापो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात्कैलाम्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्मोहे कदं भुञ्जायते नमः नमो भक्तिनिरोधाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौराशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपारूढपरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देशा सदनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नमे गौरत्रिषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतो भक्तो मम मन्दं गते गति मत्सर्वस्वं परं भोजो राधावदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमनो श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीरघोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिभिः सेव्यमानः स्मरामि श्रीमन्नरसरसारम्भी वंशिवद्दत्तपस्थितः कर्षङ्गेन्दुस्वने गोपीनाथः श्रियेस्तुलः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं तव महाभावाग्निर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं गुरुवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मा समनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरे नाम हरे नामेव केवलम् करो नस्तेव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, page 359. And if you don't have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu, is he there?
Yes.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavat
Jiva
Pranam.
Pavana Prabhu very kindly, mercifully posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to his most recent post, and then you can follow along with us. Also, AC is doing that too.
That's okay.
So usually I say Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, and then I say Guru Parampara Ki Jai. And some may wonder, well, what's the difference between Rupanuga Guru Varga and Guru Parampara? Well, according to our Shastra, our particular parampara has come from Krishna to Brahma, to Narad, to Vyas, to Madhva, down that line. We have that bhajan, Krishna hoite chaturmukha hoy Krishna sevamukha, Brahma hoite Narada ramati, Narada hoite Vyasa madvakohe, Vyasa dasa purna pragya padmanabha gati. So coming all the way down in that line, even up to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahe anya. So this is all Guru Parampara. But not all are considered Rupanuga Guru Varga. So after Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya, who is not different from Radha Krishna, nahe anya, then we have Rupanuga Janera Jivan, Vishvambara Priyankara, Sri Swarupa Damadara, Sri Goswami Rupa Sanatan. So even Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rai Ramananda are not in Rupanuga Guru Varga. In Krishna's Lila, they are Sakis of Srimati Radhika, Lalita and Vishakha, but they are not in the line of Sri Rupa. Sri Rupa is in their line. But those who are coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, with the mood of Rupa Goswami, they are known as Rupanuga or Rupanuga Guru Varga. So Guru Parampara is containing within it Rupanuga, but not all members in our Parampara are Rupanuga. So there's a variation, a differentiation. And that is also different from Raganuga, which is a different subject altogether. Really? You want darshan now? Can you wait till the end? Okay, hands up. Who wants darshan now and later?
Okay, a quick darshan.
I have nothing to see any stars or lights or anything. So, darshan, Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Ju Shashinandan Gaurahari Ki Jai. So simple yet so sublime, so beautiful. Radha Jinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Viropita Shri Krishna Charano Vande Radha Graham.
Okay. So let me see if I can put this back. That's the problem.
Good luck. I ordered a proper, what do you call it, tripod on Amazon. So it doesn't have to be the setup that it is, but who knows how long it will take to get here.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a few yeses there.
Okay, great.
Which bhajan?
Wait. Sakala Vaisnava Gosai, page 46. Sakala Vaisnava Gosai.
Jai Ho.
Will you lead it?
I can try.
These could be a little higher. Still.
Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Gaya Garamare Tante Trina Gori Kahe Etina Pamase
Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Gaya गौरांग बोलिते हबे पुलक शरीर हरि हरि बोलिते नयने बावनीर page 86 if I'm correct. Well done.
You're correct.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद।
Jai
Gurudeva
Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goyana. Page 100. Cento so. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goyana. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goyana. Manusha Janama Paya Radha Krishna Radha Jiya. Manusha Janama Paya Radha Krishna Radha Jiya. Janiya Shuriya Vishwa I'll read it afterward. Thank you for posting the beautiful Hari Katha. Shri Radha Krishna Padakamale Mana Kamare Lobhive Charama Sharana, page 120. Shri Radha Krishna Padakamale Mana by Srila Bhaktivedanta. If you don't have the book, Jivapada Prabhu is posting the bhajans in the comment section of the thread, so please scroll to the most recent post by Jivapada Prabhu and you will find the bhajan there with the translation and so much nectar and commentaries, so thank you. Shri Radha Krishna
Krishna
Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namahum Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Namahum Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Ninatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Purusha Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Purusha Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe.
So today we will continue with the discussion of the potency or the amazing mercy of Krishna's internal potency known as Yogamaya. Srila Gurudev was commenting on Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatan Goswami, and it was made into this beautiful book known as Going Beyond Vaikuntha, which is amazing, an amazing treasure. And in this section he's speaking about Yogamaya. Yogamaya actually has many different functions, different aspects. There's different ideas of Yogamaya and what her functions are. Essentially, Yogamaya means Krishna's internal potency. So the ultimate or original potency of Krishna is Vrishabhananandini Srimati Radhika. Radha Purna Shakti. Radha is the complete Shakti. But she expands herself unlimitedly for the pleasure of Krishna. So from this original potency or Shakti comes so many other manifestations. And so this potency is also known as Yogamaya. Also in Vrindavan Dham, she manifests as Purnamasi. Yesterday we mentioned how Purnamasi, she's like the grandmother of all of the Brajavasis. She's also the mother of Sandipani Muni, who gave initiation and taught Krishna and Balaram the 64 arts. Although she comes from Ujjain, it is said, Srila Gurudev explained that Purnamasi, because she is always saturated with the bhav, the mood, that I am a Brajabasi, then it doesn't matter where she is externally, where it appears she might be externally, because she's saturated in this bhav of being a Brajabasi, in Brajabhav, then she is Vishuddha Brajabasi. It means she is always Vrindavan. So wherever any person goes who has this mood in their heart, that place becomes a tirtha, because they are carrying Vrindavan with them. And for those personalities, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he's composed a beautiful bhajan. I don't know the beginning of the bhajan, but I know it's in his bhajans, where he's telling that for that personality, every mountain in that vicinity is like Govardhan. Every river is like Yamuna. Means that place becomes Vrindavan because of the presence of the pure devotee. Wherever they set their foot, wherever they go. Because they're always absorbed in that mood, in that bhav. So Vrindavan may be a physical place, but really Vrindavan is a state of transcendental consciousness. Because so many can be physically in Vrindavan. So many monkeys, so many pigs, So many humans that are only meditating on how to make money in the West and marry a Western girl, for example, or a Western boy. These kind of things. This is not the mindset of a Vishuddha Brajabasi. Somebody can be here physically, but their mind can be millions of miles away. So just because someone is physically in Vrindavan, it does not mean they are in Vrindavan. Whereas our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, the Vishuddha Brajabasis, the true Brajabasis, no matter where they are, no matter where they have traveled in the entire universe, because they're always saturated in that mood, and they are true Brajabasis, and at their feet, then we will receive Vrindavan. That is the power of their Harikatha. By their Harikatha, that mood, that desire to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan will manifest. So just like we circumambulate Tulsi and we pray to her, please give me that, awaken that mood in me. We pray the same to our Sri Guru and to Vaishnavas, our Rupanuga Vaishnavas. Please awaken this mood of service to Radha and Krishna within my heart, because they are carrying that Krishna in their heart. And as our Gurudev said, that Krishna is not alone. He is there with all of his eternal associates, all of his gopis, his parents, all the parental figures, all of his cowherd boyfriends, all of his cows, his trees, his bumblebees, his Jamuna River, his Govardhan, all of the birds, Vrindavan Dham itself. Everything is there with Krishna. So whoever has that mood, whoever is absorbed in that mood, wherever they are, that place is Vrindavan. So we can be here in physical Vrindavan, absorbing our minds and everything else, or we can be at the feet of any pure Vaishnava, any pure Rupanuga, Rasik Bhavuk Vaishnava, a true Brajbasi, and they're residing there, then that will actually be Tishtan Braje, Tad Anuragi Jananugami. Because those moods, by that association, will be awakened within our hearts. That is why in every page of every scripture, association with the pure devotees is mentioned as the most essential thing. And if one does not have that capacity, for example, at a time like this, to physically associate with pure devotees, then, as our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj has explained, we will take shelter of Shastriya Sadhu Sangha. Means associating with those devotees through the medium of scripture, through the medium of their Bani. And when the opportunity to associate with pure devotees physically arises, then the proof of our Shastriya Sadhu Sangha is we will run for that association. For example, very simple example. If Srila Prabhupada, we're reading his books, but we found out that he was coming to the temple today to give class, would we not go to see him because we have his books, or would we go to see him? It's a very simple answer. If our Srila Gurudev was coming, we have his books, but he's coming to give Harikatha, then we would naturally put the book down and run to the person, because the person is the living manifestation, the active form of that scripture. And by that association, so many refinements and adjustments can be made. But in the absence of that physical association, then we can take shelter of Shastriya Sadhu Sangha, which is what we're doing now. So, before entering into this beautiful, beautiful treasure, which appears in the form of a book, we will pray to our Srila Gurudev, who has commented so beautifully, with so many deep, deep moods on Sri Sanatan Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. We will pray to them in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnaya Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripamburirya Paradukuduki Sanatanaspam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So Yogamaya is actually, in one sense, a very simple subject, If you think about Yogamaya in terms of, I want to make it a little practical. I know it's not always appropriate because actually you cannot comprehend transcendental subject matter. We cannot through any material medium. And yet our Guru Varga have given us something to contemplate. And so by that, what they have given us, then we have some idea. So we should not think that our idea is the real thing. Just as a child who draws a picture of Krishna is not necessarily actually drawing the real beauty of Krishna. But still, the sentiment is beautiful. And the idea is beautiful. So we appreciate that, and Krishna appreciates that, and the pure Vaishnavas appreciate the endeavor that we're giving. But Srila Gurudev said, in reality, these transcendental ideas and subject matters, all of these conceptions, in reality, are so much more amazing than you could ever comprehend through your material mind, intelligence, or ego. Like he said, you have not seen how beautiful Krishna is. You have not seen. He said, if you could collect everything that is beautiful in this entire universe into one point, it would not even equal one particle of dust on the feet of Krishna. How beautiful is Krishna? How beautiful is Krishna? And then he said, those eyes that have not seen this vision of the beauty of Krishna as he is entering the forest in the morning with his friends and cows, those eyes that have not seen this beautiful sight, they are quite useless. They should be set on fire. Quite useless. How beautiful is Krishna? So this idea is like incomprehensible. If you could collect everything that you might deem beautiful in the entire creation, in the entire universe, it would not even equal one particle of dust on the feet of Krishna. How beautiful is he? How can we comprehend such a thing? And yet, when we're sitting at the feet of such a person who is witnessing that beauty, some smell, some scent of that can rub off. I remember when devotees would be performing dramas in front or for the pleasure of our Gurudeva and the Vaishnavas. I wouldn't always be watching the drama, I'd be sitting there watching him and his reactions. And whatever mood that drama was stimulating in his heart at that moment, sometimes he would just be weeping profusely and tears would be coming from his eyes. Maybe I might be looking at the drama going, why are they whining so much? But when I looked at Gurudev and he's weeping, then I would start to cry with him. So this is like praying to Gurudev, whatever mood that is manifesting in your heart, please manifest in my heart. Koro more atmasat. In the same way that our Goswamis, they would sleep under a different tree every night in Vrindavan, praying to those trees, whatever moods, whatever darshan you have had of Krishna and his pastimes, please manifest this within my heart. Because every tree is kalpavriksha, a desire tree. In the same way, Gurudev is also a kalpavriksha. We say to Vaishnavas, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. They are also like that. They can fulfill all desires, but what desire do they want to fulfill in our heart? Only the real essential desire of our Atma. There is nothing in all of the material creation that can satisfy the Atma. There is only one thing, and that is the thing which is aligned with our nature. And our nature is to serve Krishna. So this is what they have come to awaken. Our natural, intrinsic, inherent serving tendency toward Krishna. This is what they want to give us. They don't want to give us anything else. As we've seen with Sanatan Goswami and the touchstone. There was one man, he was very, very poor. He wanted to arrange a beautiful wedding for his daughter, but he could not afford it, so he was praying to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva manifested to him after some time. Yes, what would you want? He said, I want the greatest wealth. Lord Shiva said, you know in Vrindavan, there's one sadhu there, living near Madan Mohan temple. Actually, he's living near Vankandi Mahadev. There you go to that sadhu, Sanatan Goswami, and ask him for this greatest treasure. So, this man ran to Sanatan Goswami. Please, please, I've had this darshan of Mahadev. He said, you have a great treasure. please will you give it to me? And Sanatan was thinking, this person is obviously eager for some material treasure. So Sanatan was considering, yes, I had some special stone, something, it's touchstone, it's called chintamani or touchstone. Anything you touch with it turns to gold. And man was so excited, where is it, where is it? And he said, I think it's over there somewhere. You know, where he would throw the rubbish. Somewhere over there. And the man was like, what? He said, if you can find it, you can have it. The man ran, he was searching and digging around, and finally he found this stone. He was so happy, he was dancing, touching things, and it was becoming gold, and he was so excited, and he began dancing away. But by the influence of his association with Lord Shiva, who is the greatest Vaisnava, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambho, and by the influence of his association with Sanatan Goswami, who is considered even more great, because Sanatan Goswami is an intimate associate of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, serving as Lavanga Manjari. By this association, this man, as he was walking away, thinking he was so happy, began to wonder, wait a second, no one gives away the greatest treasure that easily. Right? If he had it thrown in the trash bin, he must have a much greater treasure. There was no bin at the time. You know, like in India, you just throw your leaf plate out and the cows come and eat it. So, he was very concerned. Wait a second, he must have a greater treasure, much greater treasure. If he could give this away like it was nothing, he must have something more valuable. So he went back to Sanatan Goswami and said, I've realized you must have something greater. Mahadev said that, because I asked him for the greatest wealth, he told me to come to you, but you've just easily given me this. I want the greatest wealth. Sanatan Goswami told him, then you should take that thing and throw it as far as you can into Jamuna. Take bath and come back and see me. So the man followed the instructions as he was told, took bath and came back to Sanatan Goswami. And Sanatan Goswami gave him the greatest treasure of his heart. The greatest Chintamani, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. He gave him that greatest treasure, Harinam Prabhu. That treasure which makes every other treasure completely insignificant and useless. So this is what they want to give us. This is what the pure Vaishnavas, Sri Guru wants to give us, to awaken within our heart. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite. Guru makes Krishna appear in our heart. So, I was mentioning about Yogamaya, so many different functions of Yogamaya. And all of these different aspects or functions of Yogamaya, really, because she's Krishna's internal potency, these functions manifest externally in so many different ways. I'm trying to remember why I was speaking about Guru. Because wherever that pure devotee is, what is in their heart? If you serve them, if you please them, even if you give them your greatest treasure, which might be money or time, they want to reciprocate. And what do they have in their heart? One thing. Really? It is love and affection for Krishna. So when you give the best of what you have, they also want to reciprocate and give you the best of what they have. So the exchange is not necessarily fair for them, but still, they want to give that best thing that they have. Atimartat charitraya svashritanam chapaline jiva duke sadartaya Srinama premadayine. This is the pranam mantra of our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. It says that seeing the suffering nature of the jivas, how are we suffering? We're only really so many different ways, but the real suffering is not birth and death. The real suffering is simply not being engaged in the nature of our soul. Anything which is not to do with that, whether it's material happiness or distress, which are considered two sides of the same coin, because it's all binding in this material world, all good and bad karma, it's all considered suffering, because the result of all of my good is a cosmic balancing act. To the extent that I enjoy in this material world, to that extent I will suffer. So I will climb up the the material evolutionary ladder known as samsara. All of the different species of life moving from one to the next, going up to the higher planetary systems eventually, enjoying as demigods, and then coming back to the material world. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Abbrahma Bhuvanaloka Punar Avartinorjuna, from the highest planet in the material world, Brahmalok, down to the lowest, all are places of misery. Because it's part of it. So you enjoy a little bit, and then, what is it called? Chapala Sukha. Some flickering happiness in so much difficulty. Birth after birth after birth, but there is another transcendental realm beyond this realm, which is devoid of that negative thing, that suffering. Instead, the transcendental aspect in this material world is a perverted reflection of it. In the transcendental realm, what might appear to be suffering, which is a feeling of separation from Krishna, this our Gurudev and our Shastras have explained, dances on the heads of all kinds of ananda or blissful experiences of this world. So by that process, by serving Krishna, by pleasing Krishna, then automatically one will experience nectar at every step. Purna Amrita Ashvadanam. What is it? Sarvatma Snaparam Param Vijayate. I'm trying to remember the line before that. Chetodat Paramarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivadhanam Pratipadam means step after step. Purna Amrita Ashvadana. Complete nectar tasting at every step. So that is the difference, and that is what Sri Guru and Vaishnavas want to give us. If we associate with them, if we are sincere, and if we are serving, if we are following the process of bhakti, then we can hope to receive that greatest gift that they are eager to give us. So seeing the suffering of the jivas of this world, they want to give us that greatest treasure, and that is Sri Nama Prema. Means love and affection for Sri Nam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is, as our Srila Prabhupada said, service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Jugal in Vrindavan. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. My dear Lord, from this day I am yours. So now we will continue reading about Yogamaya and Purnamasi. So Gurudev yesterday was saying, as if feeding the devotees milk, Yogamaya nourishes the devotees in so many ways, and she arranges for a soul who has attained perfection in sadhana, in the process that we undergo in this world, to appear in the womb of a gopi. But that is the very last or final birth within any apparent material world. It's not technically material because it's already beyond liberation, but one is taking one birth in any Vrindavan where Krishna is performing his pastimes, from the womb of a gopi. If you can find it, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada actually has written about this in his 10th canto. It's not in Krishna book directly, but in the 10th canto, before Brahma Vimohan Lila, Srila Prabhupada is writing that the final birth, the last birth that one takes, is from a womb of a gopi in Vrindavan. If you can find that and post it, I would really appreciate it. The personification of that Yogamaya, Purnamasi, resides in Nandagram, which is now known as Nandagaon. In many ways, she increases rasa. So the function of Yogamaya or Purnamasi, or all of Yogamaya's different forms and aspects, the subtle, the invisible, and the visible aspects, all of them is somehow to increase and enhance the rasa, means the relationship, the flavors and the taste and the experience, the depth of experience of all of the Brajavasis, including Krishna, in their relationships with each other. So she increases Yashoda's Vatsalya Ras, she increases the cowherd boy's Sakya Ras, she increases the Dasya Bhav of those in that Ras, she enhances all rasas and nurtures all living entities, including Madhurya Ras. She also enhances that. She is the mother of variegated Bhajanananda, and if one doesn't take shelter of her, his bhakti cannot increase. So very interesting. If one does not take shelter of Yogamaya, their bhakti cannot increase. I remember it was about a month or a month and a half ago, someone asked, well, how do we surrender to Yogamaya? And my answer was, through the medium of taking shelter of Sri Guru, because that's how Yogamaya appears to us initially. Also, our Gurudeva explained that our bead bag, why do we have white bead bags? White is the color of Yogamaya. Taking shelter of Yogamaya, we put our hands into our Japamala bag, taking shelter of Yogamaya, represented by that white color, and then we begin calling out to Radha and Krishna while serving Sri Harinam Prabhu. This Yogamaya is the foundation of the Lord's many kinds of incarnations. She makes all of the arrangements in regard to Bhagavan's dress, appearance, ornaments, and pastimes. On one of the many occasions when Krishna played the flute, the gopis went into a state of bewilderment. Some were wearing ornaments in the wrong places, and others placed makeup in places where it should not have been applied. They were in varying, awkward conditions. Who arranged all of this? Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the transcendental version of Mahamaya. In the material world, we are bewildered by Mahamaya. And by that, we do so many nonsense activities, including believing that we are this body, we are this mind, we are this intelligence, these are my family members, this is my country, this is my food, this is my nature, and all of this. By the power of Mahamaya, the external deluding potency, we believe, or we accept, that which is real as unreal, and that which is unreal as real. The transcendental Yogamaya, I would call her the transcendental deluding potency, enables it so that the Brajavasis don't know or even think that Krishna is God. And even that Krishna himself doesn't know or think that I am God. Mugdhata, transcendental forgetfulness takes place, even within Krishna. That is how he becomes afraid of the little stick of Mother Yashoda and begins running from her in fear. Although death itself is afraid of him, he is afraid of that little stick of Mother Yashoda. And he begins weeping and crying so much that his kajal is smearing down his face as he's rubbing his eyes with his two lotus hands. Rudanta muhur netra yugmam rejantam karam bhoja yugmena shatam kanetram Muhushvashakam patridekam kakanta stita graibundamo daram bhakti badram. So beautiful. But why? Imagine if he was running from Mother Yashoda, like there was one I told before, there was a boar who was eating the corn of one farmer. And every night he was coming to eat that farmer's corn, so that farmer thought, let me wait in the jungle with a stick, and if that boar comes, I will beat him or I will chase him away. So that boar came to eat the corn. And that farmer grabbed the stick and started chasing after the boar. The boar was running. And suddenly the boar decided, He stopped, he turned around and manifested his true form as Lord Nrsimhadev. He manifested his true form as Lord Nrsimhadev. And then he told the farmer that I like corn. You can read this in Gurudev's Harikatha. That I like corn, so I was coming to take your corn. So at that time, the farmer developed this mood of Aishwaryata. This boar was none other than Lord Nrsimhadev taking the form, like Varaha ant-like form to eat the corn. And his mood was full of awe and reverence, seeing the majesty of God. But imagine if Mother Yashoda is chasing Krishna with a stick, and then he turns around and makes the form of Lord Nrsimhadev. The entire ras, the entire lila would be disrupted. It would be rasabhas everywhere. So this cannot take place in Vrindavan. So Krishna himself, by the potency, by his own internal potency, in Vrindavan, is running, but he begins to feel real fear. When Srimati Radhika or any other gopi goes like this to Krishna, I don't want to see anything. The Srimati Radhika has her gopis decorate her in white, with white flowers, and even puts chandan and camphor on her eyebrows and covers anything which has anything resembling the complexion of Krishna. I don't want to see anything of that complexion. Keep every dark thing out of here. No bumblebee or anything is allowed to enter. And at that time, Krishna becomes desperate. Desperate. No, if he wanted, maybe he could manifest some godly form and say, everything is mine anyway. But in Vrindavan, no. Because of that, he forgets I am God, and he doesn't even think that. He's just desperate to somehow get one drop of her mercy. He begins to pray. He's offering everything at her feet. His peacock feather, his flute. You've seen that painting of Sevakunj. Smaragalakandaram mamashirashi mandaram dehi padapalavamudaram. Please give me your mercy. Please place your lotus feet on my head. Krishna is praying for this. Radhika will never do this, but Krishna is still asking for it. And he's begging. Krishna is carrying, as a little boy, carrying the shoes of Nanda Baba on his head. His own father. He forgets I am God. He does not think he's God. This is the speciality of Vrindavan. By the power of Yoga Maya, or Krishna's internal deluding potency, he forgets he's God. The Brajabasis don't know he's God. All they know is we love him and he is ours. And he loves us. And he knows that they are mine also. So mamata, madiya bhav is there, tadiya bhav is there, love and affection is there, prem is controlling everything by the potency of Yoga Maya. Srila Gurudev was just saying here, I'm just seeing if you found that. Oh, great, it's there, thank you. So, Srila Gurudev was saying here that by Yoga Maya's potency, when Krishna is playing his flute, a special kind of bewilderment takes place. The gopis become bewildered in a certain way. As they're putting on their jewelry, they become confused. Krishna's flute has this nature, and Krishna has this nature. That everything tends to create a different effect, almost opposite. So Jamuna is flowing in her course this way. Just so you know, she's flowing this way. When Krishna is upstream playing his flute, she stops in her course, turns around and flows toward him and offers her heart to his lotus feet in the form of lotus flowers. The calves which are drinking milk from their mother's udders, as they're hearing Krishna's flute, their ears become like cups. And they're drinking so much nectar through their ears that they forget to drink the milk from their mouths. Their mouths are just open and the milk is pouring out. Stones which are normally hard begin to melt. And Krishna's footprints, and even the footprints of anyone who's in that vicinity, melts into that stone. In Vrindavan you will find so many places where the stone is melted. Everything reverses its nature. Gopis, who are considered the most chaste persons in the entire creation, they forget everything and give up their lajja, run toward Krishna in the middle of the night to meet with him and to please him. As they're putting on their jewelry, they forget. As they're putting on their kajal, maybe only one eye. There's a place known as Anjanok, where Krishna himself was decorating Srimati Radhika, because she had only put kajal on one eye. When Krishna sees this, how much love and affection that they became confused. Oh, this increases his transcendental pleasure even more. You know, when someone is doing the kirtan and everything is just perfect, so much so that you can think, well, maybe that was practiced 100 times, maybe it was planned. There's no mistake. You sit there, you know, like a band, people can practice something and do it again and again until they get it just right. It was planned out, but is there any real mood in that? Is there any deep connection to that? But if someone, maybe they don't have a beautiful voice, our Gurudev said. He said, we have attraction to those kinds of things, something that's done all perfectly and done up nice, and any practiced kirtan by any person who may even be a nonsense, but it sounds beautiful to our ears. So for our enjoyment, we have attraction to that. He said, if any pure devotee is sitting in the corner, he doesn't have any good timing or any good tuning, but his heart is breaking in love and affection, and tears are flowing from his eyes, and his voice is choking up as he's chanting the holy names. We have no attraction for that. But Krishna is so much more attracted to that. Sometimes it is said he appreciates good music, like that kind of thing. Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, he told us once that there was one Muslim singer who was very expert, and as he was singing, Govindaji's garland broke and fell off his neck. And that's a sign that he's offering that garland to that person who's doing the singing. And he told us that Rup Goswami asked Govindadev, how is it possible? This person is coming from a completely different background. He doesn't have any love and affection for you. He's singing like, why are you giving your garland? And Govindaji said, I like good music also. So sometimes we see this. But in general, we understand that the Gadgad, Ha Devi Kaku Bar Gadgadaya Devacha, Nayanam Galarashrudharaya Badanam Gadgara Udhaya Gira. Or as Mahaprabhu in front of Jagannath is saying, Jagagaga, Jagagaga, Jagagaga. He cannot even get the words out. If you see any pure-hearted Vaisnava doing kirtan, and they cannot even sing or call out because their heart is breaking and the words, their throat is choked up, and they can't even pronounce it as tears are coming, then you realize this is something different. It's of a completely different nature. And Krishna himself appreciates that so much more. Duryodhana wanted to give Krishna thousands of beautifully prepared preparations. He had no attraction to it because there was no love there. But Vidura's wife, Vidurani, out of love and affection, she confused everything and she gave Krishna the banana peel instead of the banana. And Krishna was relishing that. Tears were pouring from her eyes. Her heart was melting in praying, love and affection for Krishna, that she became completely confused. And Krishna was relishing it as the most wonderful nectar. And when Krishna hears that Srimati Radhika is making her way toward him, how she's stumbling. Her footsteps are not in an even running pattern. Sometimes moving forward, sometimes stumbling, sometimes stopping, sometimes moving like this. This creates within his heart such a beautiful happiness and eagerness. Oh, listen, how she's stumbling as she's trying to come to me. So all of these gopis, by the arrangement of Yogamaya, they're putting their jewelry on, but in bewilderment from Krishna's flute song. They're putting it in the wrong place, their makeup in the wrong place, their clothes in the wrong way, and as they run, it's like an emergency. Our Gurudev explained that when that flute song entered into their homes, entered into the doorways of their ears, and went into their hearts, it stole their hearts and ran back toward Krishna with their hearts. So imagine if you're in your home, you're taking a shower, for example, and you hear someone break into your house and they're like stealing all of your greatest treasures. You just do what you can. You throw a towel on, you put some cloth over the top and run down the street. You don't think about what's going on. Something like that. They were desperate. Our hearts, our greatest treasure has just been stolen. Whatever they were doing, suddenly they they couldn't do it right. They put everything down and went running by the millions to go and serve Krishna. This is happening by the effect of Krishna's Yogamaya potency. So Gurudev is saying that they were all in a varying awkward conditions. Varying awkward conditions. But seeing this, how pleasing is it to Krishna? Who arranged all of this? Yogamaya. Their state of disarray increased their beauty 1,000,000 times. Their state of disarray increased their beauty 1,000,000 times. Because beauty is not defined by external perfection. Beauty is defined by the depths of divine love. What makes someone beautiful? Right? You can see someone who's really, really beautiful physically, even in this material world. We have seen, wow, look at that person. Any lady will see some man, my God, he's gorgeous. And any man will see some beautiful girl, my God, she's amazing. And then they may say something or treat someone bad or do something, like I know a lot of devotees, they're like, oh my God, she just ate a hamburger. And then they just get disgusted. Or maybe she, started drinking and smoking, who knows what it is. Or the other, for the boy, whatever it is. Or maybe they've mistreated someone and they're very, very vile kind of personalities. Suddenly that beauty was only skin deep and you go, whoa, wait a second. Keep that very far away. Whereas someone who might not be so physically attractive, but their mood is so sweet, they're so devotional, their service mood is complete dedication. They're offering their hearts and they're so kind and affectionate and sweet toward everyone. Then you will see, what a beautiful devotee. I want to have that association. I remember when I was young, and there were so many gurus at that time, I think 11 after Srila Prabhupada's departure. But I was searching for a particular quality, and there was one devotee, I can't even remember his name now, I think it was Mathura something, in Los Angeles. And when he was maybe a few years, when he was had first joined, he was on Harinam Sankirtan, and someone had actually attacked him. And so he had this thing, a twitch, where he would kind of like blink his eyes and he would shudder a little bit. He would shake from being attacked. He was hit with something. But I remember how sweet, how soft, how gentle, and how humble and how devotional he was. And I was quite young, and I was thinking, if I ever accepted someone as a guru, I wanted to be someone like him. Because he was so humble. He wasn't lifting his nose at everyone like, who are you? There were some who were like that. They would like lift their nose like, who do you think you are? You insignificant little nothing. But his mood was so humble and sweet and gentle that I wanted to have that kind of association. I wanted to have a devotion like what I saw or felt that he had. And it's not saying that I was able to judge characters properly. I don't have that capacity, but I remember being attracted to that particular thing. So Gurudev is saying that in this awkward state of disarray, these gopis, their beauty increased 1,000,000 times. Yoga Maya was the cause of this. I'm just checking here. Yoga Maya was the cause of this. Suppose one gopi puts an ankle bracelet around her neck and a necklace around her ankle. When she goes before Krishna, he will see it and say, oh, you have arranged your ornaments so beautifully. Because this is a manifestation of their bhav, right? Prem, sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag. There's so many different premunmad, there's different levels of prem, and Krishna can detect these just seeing their condition, their state of disarray. They've lost their composure. When Krishna sees this, it increases his pleasure. How beautiful their prem is. Actually, these jewelries and their makeup and everything is all alankars of their prem, means ornaments of their divine love and affection for Krishna. So he will say, oh, you have arranged your ornaments so beautifully. So tell me then, how much more valuable has it become? The cause is Yoga Maya. So just this, by having this state of premunmad, madness, caused by prem, this has become even so much more valuable. This is because of Yoga Maya. The potency of the Lord is durvitarkya, inconceivable, durvitarkya. Through Yoga Maya, Krishna performs pastimes with his devotees. Okay, that sentence is a little weird. I think there should be a period and a capital there. That's why I'm having a hard time. Through Yoga Maya, Krishna performs pastimes with his devotees. Okay, comma. There is his mugdhata, being spellbound in emotion. So he himself is also spellbound. The mugdhata of Yashoda means she's also spellbound. And all varieties of pastimes. From the very beginning, it is done by her, Yogamaya, for the pleasure of Bhagavan and his devotees. In another form called Mahamaya, the activities of the demons are facilitated and the jivas are bound within material existence. So we should understand that really everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. Even his Mahamaya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Hiesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Daivi means divine. So my divine energy has manifested in this material world as Mahamaya in the form of the three modes of material nature. Guna Mayi means goodness, passion, ignorance. Mama Maya, my Maya, Duratyaya, is extremely difficult to overcome. And dur means far away. Very, very difficult to overcome. However, if one surrenders exclusively unto me, very easily they can cross over or beyond his material Maya. So Gurudeva is saying in the transcendental realm, Yoga Maya, his internal potency, is responsible for all of the sweetness of his pastimes. And in the material world, the other aspect, known as Mahamaya, is responsible for the demons, demonic mentality, the binding of the jivas since time without beginning, and everything that is going on in this material world. But we should understand that there is nothing which has a separate existence or independence from Krishna. There is not a blade of grass or an atom or an electron that moves without his sanction. Or a quark, if you go that scientific. Or a particle of light. So everything is taking place by the will of the Lord. I just spoke that, I didn't read that. Vasudeva took Krishna to Gokul and brought the girl Yogamaya back from the bed of Yashoda. Now ordinarily people might think, oh my God, that sounds terrible. He just took Yashoda's daughter and Yashoda didn't know. But we should understand that Vasudeva Maharaj was ordered by the Supreme Lord himself to do such a thing. So when the Supreme Lord gives an order like this, there is no ill effect, because everything is already going on by the order of the Lord. Nothing moves without his sanction. So what has happened here? The fact that Yashoda gave birth to twins, the fact that one was a boy and one was a girl, the fact that Krishna or Narayan manifested to Vasudeva and Devaki. They prayed to him, please become small. He said, okay, but take me immediately to Yashoda's house and exchange me with her daughter. This is the order of the Lord. So there is no wrong in that. And when one disobeys the order of the Lord, then there's always negative effects. This is quite an interesting conception because he is not bound by the laws or the rules of the material world or by the laws of karma. He makes the rules. He is the Lord of Maya. He is the Lord of everything. He is Jagannath. He is Parameshwar. He is Mayadhish, the Lord of Maya. He is Yogeshwar, the Lord of all yogas, all siddhis, everything. So he's not bound by the rules of the material world. He makes the rules. And also his pastimes. His pastimes are not bound by ordinary rules, mundane rules of this world. So when Krishna gives an instruction, like he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, you should tell Dronacharya that Ashvatthama is dead. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, how can I do that? I've never told a lie. How can I do that? Krishna knew that he wouldn't be able to follow the order. So what did Krishna arrange? This also sounds like it's wrong, but this is part of Krishna's Leela. So on the opposite side, on the side of the Kauravas, there was an elephant named Ashvatthama. So Krishna arranged that in the battle, that elephant was killed. And then he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, this elephant was killed. So he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, you should tell Dronacharya that Ashvatthama is dead. Yudhishthira Maharaj could not follow the order of Krishna directly. Previous to that, his chariot always floated a few feet above the ground because he is Dharmaraj, the king of Dharma himself. King of truthfulness, proper religion and everything. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj said to Dronacharya, and Dronacharya wanted to hear it from him to confirm. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, Ashvatthama. Then, as he was just about to say the elephant, Krishna signaled everyone, blow your conch shells. So as Yudhishthira Maharaj was mouthing the elephant, all Dronacharya heard was from thousands of conch shells. So this is the origin of that, bleep on the television. In the news when someone says something wrong, they beep. So Krishna arranged for that with all of the conch shells, and then Dronacharya heard, is dead. What Dronacharya heard was Ashvatthama is dead. From the mouth of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because of that, Dronacharya sat down in the yoga position in the middle of the battlefield, and that personality who was born of fire for the purpose of finishing the life of Dronacharya, the brother of Draupadi, his name is Drishtadyumna, he went with his sword and finished Dronacharya. But what happened to Yudhishthira Maharaj as a result of not following the order of Krishna to lie? Dronacharya's son Ashvatthama was still alive. Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, tell Dronacharya Ashvatthama is dead. Yudhishthira Maharaj failed to follow the order of Krishna as it is. As a result, for the first time, his chariot touched the ground. Which means he got the negative result. He actually received the result of lying, even though he told the truth. This is proof that material truth and material lies have no place in the transcendental realm. Means they do not trump that. Krishna's instruction is the highest truth. He is Parasatya, the supreme truth. So to follow Krishna, and especially to follow his pure devotees, because he tells Arjuna, you declare boldly that my devotee will never perish. So to follow the pure devotee of Krishna, this is even considered the higher truth. That's why Krishna says, if anyone says they are my devotee, they're not really my devotee. But the devotee of my devotee, he is my real devotee. I will not accept anyone's worship unless they first worship Guru. Then I will accept their worship. So Krishna has given a hierarchy. And that hierarchy is his devotees first, then him. This is the instruction Krishna has given. So in the case of Yudhishthira Maharaj, we see that he told the truth, but he got the result of telling a lie. So in this case, Vasudeva Maharaj took Krishna to Gokul and took the daughter of Yashoda known as Yogamaya. She actually had a proper name. Does anyone know her proper name? I can't remember. Took this daughter of Yashoda, which Yashoda never even realized that she had. She didn't know she gave birth to twins. Because she was so exhausted in that night, she immediately fell asleep and didn't realize. Yogamaya was born 15 minutes after Yashoda's Krishna, Yashodanandan Krishna. She was born 15 minutes afterward, Gurudev said. So as long as she was with Vasudeva, she remained as Yogamaya. Because Vasudeva is a pure devotee of Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav, Maturesh Krishna. So when Yogamaya was with him, she remained as Yogamaya. But when she arrived in the jail cell of King Kamsa, and Kamsa lifted her up to kill her, then the activities of Mahamaya began, and Yogamaya, in an invisible form, began her own activities. So just like Ravan could not touch the real Sita, but he touched what is known as Maya Sita or Chaya Sita, not the real Sita, but Maya Sita, and he was able to take her, kidnap her, and bring her to Lanka. In the same way, Kamsa could not touch the real Yogamaya. When he went to take her from Vasudeva Maharaj, at that moment she manifested, or she was Mahamaya, and that's who Kamsa tried to dash to the ground. And Mahamaya manifested in front of King Kamsa as Durga Devi. As she was flying up into the air and manifested this form, she kicked him in the head and said, Kamsa, you fool, you don't know that that person who is destined to kill you has already taken birth somewhere else. We spoke about this on Janmashtami. Durga herself is saying that he has taken his birth somewhere else. That means that person who was destined to kill Kamsa did not take his birth in the jail cell of Kamsa. He manifested as Narayan in the jail cell of Kamsa, but he took his birth from the womb of Yashoda in Vrindavan. So Durga, Mahamaya, manifests as Durga. Durga means many things. Durga means to go very far. Dur means far, and Ga means go. So when one is taking shelter of Mahamaya, then they go very far away from Krishna. Durga also means fort. And people in this world pray to Durga for so many material things. Oh, you're my mother, so give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. They pray to Durga for material things. When any Vaisnava prays, they don't pray to the material energy, but they pray to Yogamaya Purnamasi. They pray to Yogamaya or Purnamasi. Please give me your mercy. For what purpose? Allow me to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and serve them there. And Gurudev said yesterday, we also pray to Yogamaya, please remove my anarthas, those things which are holding me back from my nature to love and serve Krishna. So Gurudev is saying here, exactly when she changed to her shadow form, no one knew. Means exactly when this Yogamaya changed to her Mahamaya form, no one knew. Seeing this, it must appear to most persons that they are one and the same potency, but they are not. Gurudev is saying they are not one. So we should understand in the same way, one is a manifestation of the other. The original is Yogamaya. When she was placed in the jail of and Kamsa grabbed her, she became the eight-armed Durga. He became astonished and frightened and said, "Oh, you are directly my worshipful goddess." But ultimately, at what point she left her form as Yogamaya, and how she did this and that, it is all Durvatarkya, or inconceivable. So they are not one and the same potency. So we should understand from this, Gurudeva is saying they're not one and the same potency, meaning the function is completely different. Actually, the function is opposite. I have heard and read from our Guru Varga and our Acharyas that, when we think we have independence to do whatever we want, whenever we want, that's actually not a fact. This idea that I'm independent and I have free will, so I have the control over what I'm doing in this material world, this is not a fact. We have very minute independence, and it's just literally a switch. We have a choice, in essence, to accept the control of Mahamaya, who plays with us like a mandolin, what is it called? Mandolin? Not a mandolin. Marionette, sorry. Marionette. You know that doll with all the strings? You've seen that picture in Bhagavad Gita. The three modes of material energy, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are playing, moving us. So we cannot say that we are really operating on free will. We are in this material world operating under the direction of the external material energy known as Mahamaya. And if we have made the choice to take the shelter of Yogamaya, then we will be operating and functioning under the direction of Krishna's transcendental, divine potency, Yogamaya. This is our independence. Just that. Not that we have free will, but thinking that I'm making this choice to do this and this and this and I am free. If we have placed ourselves under the care and the guidance of Mahamaya, then we are not free. It's kind of like, you're in a prison cell. So what are you going to do within the prison cell? Only what you're allowed to do within the prison cell. And so in the material world, it's a prison cell. In the transcendental realm, it's freedom, but that freedom has a specific nature. And that freedom-specific nature is that it is completely in alignment with the nature of one's soul, which is to lovingly serve Krishna. And so everything is harmonious in that freedom. Or sometimes Krishna calls it everlasting peace. We have read that also. But what is peace? Peace means when you are in alignment with your nature, then you're at peace. If you're not in alignment with your nature, then what will you find? All kinds of difficulty everywhere. It's just the nature of this material world. Because we're not in alignment with our nature to love and serve Krishna for His happiness, His benefit, and His pleasure, then we find difficulty everywhere. And again, I will reiterate this point with the example given by Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. If you place a compass needle in one point, from that point you can draw thousands or millions of circles and not one of them will conflict with one another. They will all be harmonious. But the moment you move the center point, just even a slight bit, quarter inch, half inch, 1 centimeter, it doesn't matter. The moment you move it, you only find that every circle intersects another. In other words, there's conflict everywhere. And that's the nature of the material world, because everyone wants to be the center, wants to enjoy like Krishna, essentially. So then we find conflict everywhere. Just open the news, look at what's going on in the US, nothing need more be said. You will find conflict everywhere. But when Krishna is the center, when Bhakti is the center, then you find everything harmonious. Even though there might be what is known as Vipaksha and Svapaksha and so many different groups of gopis, because service to Krishna is the center, it's all harmonized in that. And Srila Prabhupada said the same thing about so many different acharyas who have so many different methods of preaching Krishna consciousness. Even though their method or their approach might appear to be different, still the essence is not neglected, and that is to somehow or other attract the fallen conditioned souls to awaken their eternal loving serving mood toward Krishna. So, let me just finish this point here. Interesting question by Monica. I forgot your devotee name, please forgive me. Does Yogamaya or does Bhakti Devi remove anarthas? Absolutely. Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate. By the grace of Sri Guru, by the influence of Yogamaya or Bhakti Devi manifesting into our heart, then as a natural effect of that, actually Gurudev said she begins cleaning our heart. So first, the positive must come. Sometimes it is said that first a higher taste must come, then automatically you can give up the lower taste. If one has not actually received a higher taste, then it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to give up the lower taste, because the nature of all souls is to taste. If we're not experiencing a higher taste, why would we give it up? Why would we even want to give it up without a higher taste, Gurudev said? Why would we? So the function of Guru, the function of Sadhu, the function of Shastra, the function of all of our processes of bhakti is to awaken within us a higher taste by which we will naturally give up all lower tastes. Krishna, manifesting first in our hearts in the form of Bhakti Devi, Shraddha, the beginning of bhakti's awakening in our heart, or this faith, transcendental faith. By this, ignorance is destroyed. By the presence of Prema Bhakti's first manifestation in our heart, then gradually the anarthas, or the ignorance, start to be removed. So vinasha means to destroy. Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Krishna Surya Samamaya Andakar. Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like darkness. When the sun makes its presence, automatically the darkness dissipates. In the same way, when bhakti manifests in the heart, by the association of any pure Vaisnava, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. How does bhakti manifest? By the mercy of Shri Guru. So by that mercy of Shri Guru and Vaishnavas, who are also Guru, then gradually all the anarthas are destroyed. They make our heart a beautiful place, like a kunja, and then invite Radha and Krishna to come and play there. So your question is very beautiful. Thank you for that. So Gurudev is saying that Yogamaya, or Krishna's internal potency, is Durvatarkya, or inconceivable. The potency of Bhagavan is eternal, factual, beginningless, unlimited, and indescribable. So actually any transcendental thing, anything which is transcendental or made of superior energy from this material world, not from this material world, not from this material world, that's what I meant. Anything which is transcendental or made of superior energy, as contrasted from that which is of this material world, that has this nature, eternal, factual, beginningless, unlimited, and indescribable. We say the same thing about Krishna, about Balaram, about Srimati Radhika, about Vrindavan, about all of the Brajavasis, about anything in the Vaikuntha planets, about Brahma Jyoti, about the Jivatma, the soul which is within everyone's heart. Also, Krishna says these same words here. He uses these same words to describe the transcendental, eternal soul. Eternal. Ajo nityam shashvato yam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Eternal, factual, beginningless, unlimited, indescribable. Okay, so unlimited, we're called Vibhina Angsha, which is the most infinitesimal. And yet, when that infinitesimal connects to Krishna, then something happens. The unlimited becomes possible. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur speaks about this subject in terms of, you can call it a giant supermagnet, and us, which is a very small magnetic particle. On our own, what potency do we have? We don't have much strength or anything. But when that small particle connects to the unlimited source of everything, now what potency is flowing through? So one jiva, this little jiva, once entering into Krishna's eternal pastimes. When Krishna is expanding his pastimes outward unlimitedly, are we left behind? Or are we also expanded unlimitedly with Krishna's pastimes? One who sees reality will see, Tang sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. I will see that my Gurudeva is situated within the heart of every living entity, within every atom. Within every atom of creation, Krishna is present. All of his associates, I don't have the vision to see that now. But those persons with divine eyes, those persons who are tattvadarshis, they can see that truth. They can diagnose that, and they can see Krishna present everywhere. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says the Uttam, the topmost personalities, devotees, they don't exactly see the material world and the workings of the material energy. Rather, they see their Ishtadev, means their worshipful Lord, present in everything and everywhere. So Gurudeva says, this potency, the potency of Bhagavan is eternal, factual, beginningless, unlimited, and indescribable. It cannot be fully described in words, and an ordinary man cannot portray its form. So I'm going to confirm this. What I'm able to do is definitely not the reality. It's just some idea. Even Gurudev said about Jiva Tattva, everything that we are telling you for now is to give you some idea, but in reality it is much more amazing, much more wonderful than you could ever conceive through your material mind, intelligence, and ego. Through taking shelter of Harinam Prabhu, through Nam Bhajan, and by the mercy of Guru Vaisnava, by the mercy of Krishna, one day you may be able to understand something of this. Even what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa Goswami, he said, I will give him one drop of the ocean of Bhakti Ras. And Rupa Goswami called it Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. Means the ocean of Bhakti Rasa Amrita. The nectar of Bhakti Ras, the ocean of that. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he wrote his version of that. It is known as Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu Bindu, which means one drop of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. And that also is like an ocean in itself. So Mahaprabhu said only one drop. Even Krishna cannot estimate the depths and the expansiveness of his own glories. So what to speak of any jiva when it comes to trying to explain a transcendental spiritual subject matter, especially any conditioned jiva like myself. Let me just finish this paragraph. It's only one sentence more. It cannot be fully described in words, and an ordinary man cannot portray its form. Only an elevated, liberated, great soul can describe a little of it. Otherwise, it cannot be described at all. Fortunately, we're reading from Srila Gurudev, and he has been describing something of this so that we might be able to have some idea of it. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanand Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol Anuradha, Radhe Radhe. Evening 2, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shitai Gaura Premanande
Hari Hari Bol. Jai.
Jai Bhagavad Guru Varga ki Jai Bhagavad Nityananda Guru Jai Prem Purushottam Shatinandana Gaura Hari Jai Radha Hari Jai Radha Jai Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Hari Ram Sankirtan ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Bol. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe.
Shri Vrindavan Hari Ram ki Jai 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 Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam Gaura Premanande
Hari Hari
Hari Bol.
Bol.
So thank you all very much for being with us today, giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us every day in our Guru Seva, which we are so indebted to you for. We look forward to being with you all tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Radha
Radhe,
Bino Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Jai. Shri Gaura Hari
Ki Jai.
Jai.